Hi, Stacie. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Danielle.
Hey, I see so many wonderful friends in the chat. Melanie says she's got her loom out. Awesome.
Woohoo.
And Jennifer's here. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Marianne. Carol is here. Lorena is here.
The whole gang.
Awesome. Everyone's here. Okay, cool. Well, you know what? I was thinking I would dive right in with intros and stuff because, of course, I have these epiphanies like the week of, oh, I'm going to do a loom project. Because I had a good idea pop in my head. And you know what? You got to seize those when they come. And so that's what I did. And you and I were talking back and forth about ideas and like kind of what to do. And I had a few things like I was going to maybe just do another one of those little stitches with the little findings. But then I was like, hang on. I could do a little really quick fringe earring. So that's what I'm doing. And then you have a beautiful earring design that I think you've shared it in the events pages, but maybe folks haven't seen it yet. So it could be a surprise for you guys.
Yeah.
So two special surprise-ish projects that we are excited to show you today.
Can't wait.
And so, yeah, let's see. So let's see, what can I update you guys on? I want to share a couple of things really quick. Updates, and then I'm going to show you how to find the PDF for today because there is a PDF for my loom earring. But starting with the updates, next week's the 7th, we're going to do a live stream with Carol to kind of drop hints and teasers about the next mix, which we're calling Star Seeds. And Stacie, it's on its way to you, so you can do a project.
Cool. I can't wait. Cool name too.
Yeah, we named it Star Seeds because I'm feeling like it was September is just the month where awesome stuff's going to happen. There's so many amazing things coming in. It feels like when it comes to opportunities and ideas, it feels to me like a meteor shower, like a shooting stars just all day. And
wow.
So I'm in that energy right now. And so we just came up with this beautiful palette and Star Seeds was born. And now we're just working on patterns because like before, we want to have patterns to present before we launch. And so, and Carol is I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying, but her dad would have surgery. So she's been out for a bit. I know you guys are missing her. So she'll hopefully on the 7th, but I have to make it tentative for that reason. But otherwise we'll just push it to the 15th. So that is coming up and it's in the books. We've got patterns going. It's happening. So that's my first update. And then the second one is Jennifer Miller and I are live on Monday. Monday, we're going to do a project with some silver silk. And we're going to do, we're going to open a kit from Softflex Company. So please join us Monday. That's already posted in my live stream, both Facebook and on YouTube. All right, and then the last one, before we dive in, I want to show you the PDF just real quick. So I'm going to bring this up. You can download this at my website. If you're looking for the link to where to find all of these items, go ahead and go to the DanielleWicksJewelry.com and then click on Patterns and Tutorials, and it's the first blog post. So you can find it there. And in this document, I'm putting links to every bead that I used. And also I have a link where you can get the loom that I'm using. And these come in a pair. They're made in the USA. They're made with beautiful birchwood. And because Juliana is awesome, she is throwing in a free gift with purchase. So when you buy your earring loom, you get a free tassel maker. So this is something that we came up with because I use the tassel maker in kind of an unusual way when I do my looming. So I was going to show you guys that today. All right, so that's my updates. Let me pull this down really quick. And one other thing I could show you really quick is the page where you can get it. So I'll just bring this one up really quick. So here's the earring loom in action from back when we first started playing with it. And so you just come over here and you can find all the details and you can see some of the close-up views of it. And again, here's the note today that you get a warrior tassel maker with purchase if you want to go ahead and grab your micro looms. Those are what I'm going to use to make my earrings. All right. And so let's see. I was going to make my screen come in. Should I add yours yet, or do you want me to pause on that?
Well, we can go ahead and do that. Maybe you want to, we can flip to the overheads and take out the...
Okay.
So people could see what we're doing.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to add mine. Okay. And then you just tell me when I'll add yours.
Go for it.
Go for it. Okay, cool. So there's your earring. It's beautiful. Yes. It's really pretty brick stitch earring, and it's using, I
Let me put
think
it in a
the beads you
spot.
used are the size 10 cylinders, right? It looks like.
They are the size 10 delicas that were the beads from your August mix that you and Carol put together.
Oh, cool. Yay. I love that mix was that was a favorite. We were loving on that mix. It was really
Yeah,
fun.
those were some fun colors, and
Really cool.
I picked 2 out. I don't know if you can, they're kind of hard to see. They're little. Let me grab a few of them. So I picked 2 colors. See if I can get them on here for it. I picked this kind of teal color.
Uh-huh.
I think it looked like it was a Picasso actually. The teal
That's,
Picasso.
yeah, that is a seafoam Picasso.
Yeah. And then I picked like this sparkly, I'm gonna call it a princess pink. So,
oh yes. And that one is also still in my shop. It's Tea Rose Luster.
okay. I didn't know the name, so I gave it a
No, well,
Google.
if you got the mix, the names wouldn't have been like
Yeah.
findable as easily. And then it looks like you're throwing in either, are those 15s or are they 11 rounds?
Those are 15s. So
15s. Yeah.
decided I'd do a little picot around the edge, and these are 15s. So decided that I too would do things that didn't necessarily make sense on camera. So hunting and pecking little 15s is not not always the easiest thing to do, even if you're not off camera, but I'm gonna live on the wild side.
Cool. Let's see. So let me go back to, let's go back to our screen here, and then I'll just go a quick overview of what I've got on my mat here. So I practiced earlier just to make sure, because I am going to show you guys how to warp the little micro earring loom, but I wanted to test out some ideas that I had for how to make the first row easier, and I was successful here. So I'm going to explain that in a sec, but the earring itself is right here. And it's made by creating that little section on the loom, which goes really quick. You can get it done really fast. And then there's these little cute little fringe strands coming out of the bottom. And I love doing this. And I like the micro loom because with my bigger loom, my jewel loom and my larger looms, I find that I waste a lot of my thread. And I like to use really nice threads. So, you know, I'm going through my spools really fast. This one, I only use what I need. And so it's really cool. It's definitely a thread saver for sure. You get a fast result too. So something really cute, a nice speedy way to make earrings. So if I was to square stitch this, it would take me several hours. I can loom it in less than 30 minutes. Sometimes even faster, depending on if I'm speeding through it, right? So definitely a time saver as well. So that's what I'm going to show you today. And so let me think of how to get started. So Stacie, what do you think for getting started? Do you want to show starting yours first, or do you want me to start some instruction and then switch to you? What's best for you?
I'm happy to start, and then we can switch to you.
Sounds good.
Because I think mine will get kind of tedious pretty quickly.
No worries. Okay, I'm just going to bring your screen up.
So
here we go.
Oh,
Juliana's here. Hi, Juliana.
So what I'm using today is Fireline. You can use Wildfire or others as well. I like those too because I feel like they're a little bit firmer. I'm using the 6 pound. It's the black. It's like the industrial size spool that I've got. And to make my life easier, I've already thrown this onto a needle. And I'm using a size 11. You could probably use 10 or 12 or anything in that realm to do this. So I don't even know if you can get these anymore, Danielle. I got these from your shop a long time ago. I believe they're TerraCast rings, and I measured it, and the inner diameter was like 15 millimeters.
Okay, so that's 15. Yeah. So spoiler alert, we're going to be using those hoops in Black Ox for star seeds coming up here in September.
Okay.
So
are they making them again? Because I wasn't sure what TerraCast had in.
Oh no, all of the stock I had was USA made TerraCast, and I don't know how or where or when I can get more. I know that that's a possibility coming up, but I personally don't have access at the moment. But I did a lifetime buy on the Black Ox because I had it specially made for a kit that I did like 3 years ago. I have tons left. So I brought those back out. They're in the shop, and we're going to be using the 15 millimeter size you're using here.
Okay.
And I've seen Carol's earring, and she did something a little similar to what you're doing. So this is a great teaser for that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I had no idea. So great minds think
no, you
alike.
guys are just on the same the universe this is what the universe wants right now, right? So it's like
So the first thing I'm doing is just tying this on here. It's just an overhand, like a overhand knot. And then just moving that up to the top. And then I started with the green Picasso and just grabbed 2 of them. And I always hold my work. I know sometimes you do it on the surface, but I learned this way and I can't be untrained. So sorry about that. I go behind the ring and then I come back up the front through the bead and then just pull it through and kind of snug those up. So I've got, might be easier to put it down here for people to see. So I've got just 2 of those brick stitched on. And then I just did what worked here, but I did count them up and I found that I had 28 on my first row. So again, after the first one, the first stitch where you put on 2, you only grab 1. So bring that down and then I go behind the ring, kind of holding the bead to keep it in the general proximity of the ring, and then come back up it from the front. I can see what I'm doing. And then just snug it up onto the ring. So I'll do one more and then Danielle, I'll let you do some so people don't have to watch me do another, 26 of these?
Okay, yeah, no worries. This is the perfect format
24 of them. That's
for
good.
steps like these, right? I feel like. And then I
Yeah.
wanted to just shout out Jennifer Miller in the chat. She has the ring you're using in her shop currently.
Oh, cool.
Because I believe I am sold out of the silver.
Yeah, great. After I used it, I was a little bit like, uh-oh. I know these are probably, probably scarce. So, well, Danielle kicks off. I'm going to just go and keep brick stitching these onto the ring. I've got 4. I put 28 in my first row, so I'll be busy over here putting the other 24 on.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, let me switch us back. And Juliana has a great question. Would this be similar to how you sew on fabric? And I would say yes, because this is how I brick stitch on the sides of, like if I'm doing like a border edge on something or connecting 2 pieces together from like a bead embroidery piece. Yeah, brick stitch is how I would do that. So this is very similar to a fabric stitch, I would say.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to bring my screen up here and I'm going to show how to start the micro loom. So let's go here, and my sunlight has come out, so sorry about that, guys. It's a little I don't know how to block the shadow. It's up really high from the window. So I'm going to go from this to this, and the thread that I'm using is called Sand Ash. It's a 1G beading thread. I'm going to warp the loom with Wildfire so you can see a little better. It's also, just going to be a little thicker too, so you can really get a good visual. But here's how I started mine. And as I was saying in the beginning, Jules is so awesome. She's throwing in the tassel maker when you buy your earring looms, because I use them to do this kind of tightening action with my warps. And it just makes the thread really tight. And that's why I really love it. And so that's what I've been doing with this design. So here's, and again, the pattern, guys, I put the pattern and links to the looms and all of the stuff you would need to make this earring in the description. But I'm going to basically build this pattern, which has 14 beads per row. And so for 14 beads, I would need to put 15 warps on my micro loom. So I'm going to grab the thread here and I'm going to point out a feature of the new loom that has this little notch right here. check that out. It's super cool. You can tie a double knot right there and get started. And I think this is a game changer for me because I was going like all around with my knots before when I was using the business card version that inspired. And so I'm just going to bring my thread under here. And the wildfire that I'm using, guys, is 0.006, and it's a really nice size for this loom, among many other threads you can use. But it's one of my faves.
Hey, Danielle, would the fire line also work?
Oh, yeah, it would.
Okay.
It would work as well. And like that other one I've got next to me, I was using 1G to match my bead colors, but like all of these threads are perfect for it. And multiple bead sizes too, which is also very cool. So that just makes sure that my knot is going to stay nice and tight. And now I'm going to bring my thread up and down through one of the little notches here. And what I do when I'm making these turns is I hold the thread here with my finger, and then I'll bring it up through here. And when I pull, it keeps the thread in between. So let me show you that again. So coming down through this little nodule here, going through this side. And I'll just kind of put my thumb right there as I make my turn up through the comb so that it catches the comb really easily. And then I'm just going to keep going. Same thing over here. And you can hear the little click when it catches the comb. And I'm trying to keep my tension tight, but I'm not super, super worried about it because of the magical tassel maker. I'm going to use that to make my tension even tighter when I'm all done with this warping. And something I did for the beads that I'm using, this is just only for this specific design that I have to do this, but I experimented with it just before. Now, when I made my first earrings, I just went with every single notch in the comb. And when I was using the notches in the comb for my original design with the size 10 beads, because these are spaced for 11-0 and I'm using a 10-0 bead. So I had to kind of spread the strands out. I think it's easier if you make a space every second or third strand. So you see what I did there? And it made it easier for me to get the unusually sized beads in there. But again, this only applies to this specific design with these kind of weirdo beads that I'm using for today. So that'll help you out with getting your first row started. If you, maybe after every second or third, just skip one of the combs. So I'm going to keep going. And Stacie, give me a shout if you have something you want me to stop and show. And I'm just going to keep warping.
You can keep going. I'm about
doing
2/3
good
of the way around.
I've heard several folks express some interest in seeing the warping, and it's also a really good time for me to mention something else really cool that I wanted to share in the beginning, is that there is really cool content available through Juliana's Creative Soul Jewel School, and she has patterns and video content, and it's available as a course. And so I've been doing those. I did August, and I'm going to be doing the next one too. So ongoing, and I'm excited about that. Really excited. And I already have done the ones for the upcoming month, and they're really cool. They're seriously cool. I'm going to do something really different. And so you can find that. I believe you can also find that at the link that I put in my description. And oh, I see a question. Sorry about that. So I am, how many grooves am I skipping? Just one, but I'm not doing it every time. I'm just going like 3 and then skip one of the combs, and then 3 and then skip one of the combs. And this is only just for these they're an unusually large bead size, the size 10 delicates. So let's see. Here's my third. So far, so good. And for this one, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and skip for this one. So I went with a lot of beads per row. So this takes a little bit longer to get 15 warps on there. But the thinner designs go even quicker. And I am going to be using this micro loom for a bonus idea for when we do the starseed launch. I have a little earring that's going to be one of my featured designs. Yeah, Carol and I have been going kind of crazy with the designs for this one, guys. It's been really fun. Okay, so how many do I have? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here's 13. And whoop, sorry about that. 13, here's 14. And you're still doing good over there, Stacie, with your design?
I am.
Good, okay. I'm on my last warp thread, and I can show putting on the first rows and how to tighten my tension a little bit. And so there, I'm gonna just make sure I have 15 because, you know, I'm live and I can't count live. Oh, and Juliana's saying hi to you, Stacie. I don't think you guys have met yet. Really? Oh, no. Well, I'm sending her some of these.
We've met in person or virtually either.
Yeah.
So nice to meet you.
There we go. I've got 15 on there. And so what I like to do is I like to use this little notch to do my knots. But since I have an odd count, I'm just going to bring it over this way just to kind of join where I have that cool little notch to knot to. And bonus, I can use the tail thread as something to tie to. And this is just kind of a brand new thing I started doing. It just helps me out. Let's trim that. And I'm going to try to tighten this up. There we go. And do a double knot for sure, just to make sure it's going to stick for you. And don't worry about, again, the tail lengths on these knots because we're just going to trim this at the end. All right. So there's 15 warps on there, unusually spaced for some weird beads. Oh, hey, Sandy, thank you. That's so kind. Oh, Linda's here. Guys, Linda's here all the way from Australia. Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And I see a question about the loom, just really quick. Yes, we have put a link to where you can buy the loom in the description. And I believe, I think, go ahead and show you really quick again where you can get it. I'm just going to pop that on the screen really quick. So if you click on the link in the description, it will take you to where you can purchase these beautiful looms. And I'm about to show you an extra tool that I like to use. And so when you order it, it's going to be included. See the note here? How cool is that? Thanks, Juliana. Yeah, this is awesome. So we're going to have more stuff coming up with this. If you want to grab these, I'd recommend it. All right. And so, okay, so let me make this the big screen for just another second.
Sure.
And I'll throw my first row on. So once you've done your warping and you're ready to do the next step, you just want to grab your beading thread and cut a good, for this one, you don't need as much because it's only going to be a few rows. It's just this little tiny little segment here that we're going to make. So maybe like 45 inches will be plenty. Or if you want to not have to add thread when you do your fringe, I want to share a little tip really quick. So if you're using something like Wildfire to do this part, maybe just finish it, weave in with the Wildfire and bring in a thin flowy thread to do your fringe part. Because these fringe strands are only 11 beads long, they're going to be flowier if you're using something like the 1G. And so And my original, the one I made originally is using this one, the sand ash. And so I brought that in. And in this case, I left a really, really long tail at the beginning, but also the way that I pull the warps in, you're going to have a little extra length from that. So I kind of use both strands to do my fringe. And so I'm hoping I can show all of that. But in general, if you're not using something flowy, you're going to want to weave in something flowy to do just the fringe part. But that's just a little tip in case you're combining threads. And so something to think about when you're cutting the length that I'm cutting right now. So if you want this to be your fringe, you need more. That said, it doesn't use that much because it's, these little fringe strands aren't that long. They're pretty short. Okay. And I summarize all that in the PDF, so you don't have to memorize that.
Okay. And I've gotten to the end of my first row.
Oh, you have? Are you ready to show up?
Whenever there's a good time.
Yeah, like actually let's do that now, and then we'll come back and we'll do the first row on here.
Okay. So, sounds like a plan. So I got to the end of the first row, and I'll show you a couple things. So first is I pulled the little tail up through my first bead so that I can trim it off later and it's not right next to the knot. And so I actually ended up with one less bead on this one, which is okay for this row. They were getting kind of too smushed. I'm guessing it's just some variation in size. So to move on to the next row, I wanted to continue in the same direction. So I actually just went down and behind my ring and then back up through this first bead to kind of connect it. And so a couple of things to think about here. Let me grab my Post-it note with my counts. So on the second row, if you want to do this picot edge, you're going to need to have an even number of beads. So I put 32 on my second row. So I'll just have to make sure that I end up with an even number so that I can put that edging on. So to basically kind of step up and do your next row, I grabbed a bead and then, I don't know if you can, let's see if I can show it there, if you can see it. There's this thread bridge. It's basically the thread in between your first and your second bead. And I go underneath that. So instead of, move that guy out of the way. Instead of going around the component, I'm just going through the thread bridge. And so to get to 32, you'll have to use a couple of those thread bridges twice. So in fact, I'm going to use this one twice so that I can add 2 here. And what I found is because the circle is getting a little bit wider between the first row and the second row, you need to add a few more beads. I did it without adding them, and there were some weird gaps in it, and I sent Danielle a picture. So it took me a few times to kind of figure out what the best counts are. And if your beads end up being really big, or you pick bigger ones, you may need to go with 30. But as you go around, just make sure you end up with an even number. So I put 2 in that first thread bridge because I wanted it to kind of fill up the space there. So then I'm going to grab another one of the pink and just go under the next thread bridge and come back up through. So I can set that down and hopefully you can see that I've got 3 on here. And I just, as I went around, you can actually kind of see where it starts to pull. You get little gaps, and that's where I added in those extra 4 beads. So Danielle, I can continue around if you want to go back and share your loom.
Okay, sure.
unless there's any questions.
Let's see. Let me scroll and make sure I didn't miss any. Yeah, no, I didn't see any questions pop up.
Okay. And
All
I will
right.
carry on.
Okay, let me make this the big screen. And I'm going to start my first row. And so again, the pattern I'm using is, you can download it from the description. But the first row is just going to be 14 beads in all of the same color A color, which is this kind of like a tan Picasso color. I'm going to bring this down a little more so you can see it. And so you just want to pick up 14 beads. Here's 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, and 14 beads. And I got those on. And slide that down so that you've got, depending on what you're doing for strand length, if you're leaving a really long tail to do your fringe, then leave that really long tail. Otherwise, just leave enough that you can weave it in. And bring the tail side under my loom. And then what I like to do just for the first row, and let me just bring the camera down just a little bit for you. I like to put my needle back through to help me steady it underneath the warps. So I go like back through it. So back through all the beads. And I have one more step I want to do before I get started. So I have my tassel maker, and it is the perfect height, literally the perfect height, to give me just a little extra tension on my warp threads. So I'm going to bring this underneath the warps and turn it. See, let me show you a side view. Just turn it up like this, and it'll stay right in place. But you see how it's adding tension to it? That is going to make it a little easier, especially for me to get started with that first row. So kind of a game changer. And then I'm just going to align these with one bead in between each warp thread. And there we go. So usually I'll just get them all mostly in place, and then I'll just adjust what I need to afterward. So I'm adjusting that one there. Looks like I'm going to need to adjust this one. I just want to make sure and hold all of that in place with my fingers. Move that one over. And when you're working with 11-0 seed beads, they're going to pop into place a lot easier. I'm taking on a challenge using my weird beads, but I just really wanted to use them because they're super cute. So, and I just love the colors. So sometimes you just got to do it. And pull that needle out. And now I'm going to pass back through the beads with the needle going above. And you'll know you got it because none of the beads will fall off, and you should be able to slide them. And then just go ahead and pull your strand through. And then I like to use like a bead scooper. Oh, Jennifer says this is her favorite color. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, and Nancy, there is no cost for this pattern. You can get the pattern for free right now from the description. Oh, thanks, Nancy. And so, yeah, there's my first row. And so the next row, I'm going to just throw that one on really quick. And it just starts with one of these alabaster luster color, and then 13 more of the. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and 3. And now I know that Jennifer loves this color, so I need to send her some. If you didn't already buy it, she always goes into my shop and buys them so fast. I love her. She's so cool. And you guys, as I'm passing back through the beads, I'm being super, super, super careful that I do not puncture the threads. And one way you can double check that you didn't, I'll show you in just a second, is as long as you can slide, and as it gets more built up, you can't slide the whole thing as easily, but you can always just get your little business card or scooper in between and just make sure everything's moving. If it's moving, it's going to save you some weaving in later because we can just pull the strands through. So I'm going to just keep going on this one. And I wanted to just double check and see, Stacie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I got to a point where I have a gap, so I wanted to show that to people. So
okay, let's pop over to you, and I'm just going to keep looming, guys, in the background. So let's
take like 2
format
seconds.
so you have something to see that's not the same every time. There you go.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see, but when I added these beads here, there's this big gap, and so that was a sign that I needed to add a second bead on the same thread bridge. So I'm going to grab one of the pink size 10 Delicas, and I'm going to go back actually to the same thread bridge that I used to add my last one. And then just coming back up through that. And see, that gets rid of that funky little gap that there was there. So that's all I wanted to show. If you don't add those extra 4 beads in this row, you get those funky gaps that I thought were not nice. And the other problem that they caused is it didn't make the picot even. It was a little, some were flat and some were poofy, and I didn't like that. So Danielle, now that I've shared that, you can head on back.
Okay. I've got another row on, and now I need to grab another color. So the way that I did my pattern is it's really easy when you're working it because you're just adding a new bead at the start every time. And you'll just get to the end of what looks like a little rainbow running across it. So my next color I need to add is the Picasso that you're using, actually. Same bead.
Oh, really?
Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer says she's loving this live. Thank you, Jennifer.
And I was actually thinking that would look really cool if you did it in an ombre, like all different shades of, well, in my case, it would be blue, but.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm going to add a little more beads here. There we go. Okay, so how many do I have on here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, sliding that over. It's getting so much faster now because I'm rolling. And oops, I undercounted. So if I counted wrong, or I just maybe picked up an extra, no problem. Just go back through it, and it's just going to fall down when I get to the end of the row. Right back into the pile. Pretty cool. And then just testing, I can still move everything. Everything's good. Okay, now I need another color. And the next one's going to be this bright, super bright orange. I'll grab some of those. And I would say this doesn't actually use too much beads. It's a pretty good way to use up leftover beads, I would say. And now I'm going to do, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Oh, I was counting to 15. It's 14 beads, not 15. There we go. 15 warps. I don't know about you guys, but I am happy it is Saturday because my brain is in Saturday mode right now.
Me too.
Yeah. I am ready for a long weekend. And then we're perfectly ending the long weekend with a live with Jennifer. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. If you're free and you want to tune in, let me know. I'll send you some of the links and stuff that we're going to be doing. Send you a sneak preview.
Oh, I'd love to.
So let's see. I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. See how cool this is? This is the fastest, most fastest way to make the top part of an earring. Like if you were going to brick stitch this, I feel like it would take a lot longer. And square stitch would take forever. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. My lighting is weird this afternoon. I feel like it's super sunny here and actually kind of warm. But so for me, like
Jennifer's down below 100.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh, thanks, Juliana. She said she's loving this. I'm so happy you like it. It's something that I literally had this come to me as an idea when I was like half asleep. And I just saw this rainbow thing going across the earring. And I'm like, the rainbow could just turn into the strands of fringe. And so now I want to make this in a bunch of colors. I'm thinking like every color I've got in my stash, basically. 5, 6, 7. Here's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There we go. And I'm almost to the end, guys. And feel free to give me a shout, Stacie, if you get to a spot where you want to show the next step for your earring.
I am almost there. I was just counting beads. I wanted to make sure I had an even number.
I'm excited because this was like pretty epic to get done in a live, and I think I'm going to make it. So I've only got 4 more rows to go. So I can switch to you anytime. I'm at this point just working a reintroduction of the next bead here. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
6, 7, 8. Oh, switch back.
I am ready.
You ready? All right.
I am.
8. And then, I'll stop counting.
Sometimes I need to count out loud, or I can't count properly. That's what I was doing over here. I had to check it twice. So what I ended up doing was completing that second row. And when I got to the last bead, what I found was I was at 31. And to do the picot, I need an even number. So I put a second one onto that last thread bridge. So I've got 2 beads sharing that last thread bridge. And so what I'm going to do now, and these were just from my stash. It looks like there are some Miyuki galvanized silver 15s. I don't have a ton of 15s, but I do have some. And to do the edge, it's actually really simple. So the hardest part is actually picking up the 3 teeny tiny 15s onto your needle. And then you just go down through the bead next to it. And sometimes they need a little nudging to get the middle one to pop a little bit. And so that's basically what you do. And then you just come up through the next bead. And you don't need to go down through the bottom row. So you're just going, up and down through that top row, adding in 3 of your 15s. You probably could do it with an 11 too. It would just be a little bit more more noticeable. I might have to try that now and see what I think. But yeah, the trick is just making sure you have an even number. So I am going to continue doing that. I also find it's helpful to have fairly good tension, which isn't usually a problem. I at least for me, I think I take my aggression out on my seed bead work.
Oh no. Poor seed beads.
I know. I have like the death grip on.
Oh, there are happy
class recently from someone, and they were like, "Wow, like You're a pretty like wound up person, aren't you?
Oh yeah, it helps. It definitely helps me relax to do seed beading, that is for sure.
Yeah. I think it was Gem Hawks. It was like, this is so that she doesn't injure other people. That's why she beats. And I'm like, oh, that
I
kind of
love just
resonates
listening
with
to
me.
Jem. I sometimes just listen to her lives, even if I'm not doing the project. I just listen.
I do too. I'm like, that's really profound. I'm like, I feel the same way.
I just like her. I think she's cool.
So if you want to show
Yeah.
the next steps on yours, you can do that. And I will just work
I
this
finished
round.
it. So I've got the it's ready to come off of the loom. I can't believe it.
Woohoo!
How cool is that? So I am really excited to have this shown to you guys. So there's the top of the earring, and it's all finished. And so try to orient this so you can see it. So basically that's this part of the earring. Already done. You saw how fast that was. And I was chatting and I was texting and everything. So super, super speedy. I'm going to take my handy dandy tassel maker out of the warps. And then the first thing I do is I'm going to grab some scissors or flush cutters, and I'm just going to free the knot side. And the flush cutters are handy because they can just get underneath the thread a little bit. There we go. And it usually just comes right free from my loom, which this one is doing here really nicely. Okay, so everything's free from the knotted side. So let me get that little fuzzy out there. Okay, so what we've got here, I've got my 2 weft threads. So I'm preserving those. And then up here at the top, I've just freed one of my warp strands. And I'm just going to trim off this part right here. So on this side, where we were doing all those little turns, I'm just going to take my thumbnail and just going to free these. Oh, Lorena says it's so nice having you, Stacie. She loves your work.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You're so
Thank you
sweet.
so much, my friend.
So that's free from this side. And then just going to pull it free from that side. And so this looks intimidating, but don't worry. It's really easy. All we're going to do is, let me just get some of the beads out of the way really quick. We're going to need those for our fringe, so I'm not going to put them away just yet. But if you have handy a pair of, just chainless pliers can help at first, but I find I can even do this with my hands too. So try both, see what works for you. But pick a side, any side. And I'm going to work with this one. And just go ahead and very gently, while putting some pressure on your beadwork, pull that side down. And see, this will just disappear right in. So just like that. And then if you've just pulled at the bottom, you want to come to the top and do that same thing again. Just pull up. Here you want to go this direction. And what might happen to you is it might start pulling in its friends. So just help free them. I'm going to isolate just the loop. And at the end of this, we're going to have a pretty long warp strand, which can be used to help with finishing your fringe if you're using a flowy thread for this step. And that is what I did on my, just to show you again, that is what I did here. It just was kind of hard to see, so I wanted to wildfire this for you guys. I thought that color that I used was dark enough to be seen, but when I sat down in front of the camera just before our live today, I looked at that and I'm like, I'm going to go grab a spool of wildfire because it just kind of disappears on the mat. I don't know why. But it's actually a lot darker in person. It matches really well with this bead color. So this takes a minute, but we just keep going, and at the end we'll have a super long strand that is perfect for our fringe. And then I see a question from Jennifer. Will I be getting the thread in the larger spools? You know what? I may or I may not, because it's already available from a lot of really great retailers at prices that are better than I could do it at, if that makes any sense. But you've given me the opportunity to share something cool. I hope it's okay if I share this, Juliana, but the next kit coming that we are doing together uses a 1G spool of thread. A really beautiful color. I won't say which color. It won't be a spoiler. But you feel free to drop any spoilers you want. I'm just excited because I get to show her the designs this week upcoming, and I've had a bit of fun, guys. I've let myself play, and it was really, really fun, enjoyable. I haven't really, like, in a long time sat down and just said, Danielle, make anything you want with the beads. Usually I have some goal in mind or some agenda for like a technique workshop or whatever. This was like, no, make whatever I want. That lights me up. And so that's what I did. And I really think you guys are going to like it. It's so cool. The ideas are just flowing right now. It's wild.
So I am done.
Well, you're done. Oh,
I'm done with that piece.
Yeah, let me show. I'm gonna switch back really quick. So it's not letting me click on your screen there. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
Okay. So I finished beading on my component and then just wove it in and cut off the excess and cut off the little tail piece too. Actually, I did that earlier. It was driving me crazy. And then I actually just decided that, I don't know, I didn't like just connecting it to the earring. It needed something extra. So I don't buy head pins. I mean, sorry, eye pins. It's been a long week. I just do them myself. So I already just put a loop on there, and really just going to put the bead on and make a simple loop here. I think this looks like maybe 18 or 20 gauge. And I always use German style wire. I just have an easier time working with it because it's got a little firmer consistency. So basically just bent that at a right angle. See, there you can see it. Oh, easier if I didn't have crap behind it. And then cut off the excess. And I'm just going to come in with my round nose plier, which will be a little bit harder with this gauge of wire, but I can get a grip on it. There we go. And just roll that closed. So all I have to do is assemble my second earring. So I'm just going to open my ear wire loop, close that. Again, just either twist toward or away from you. And then I made the loop bigger on the bottom because I wanted it to have some motion, and this is also kind of a thicker ring. So again, just opening that. We'll see if the directions on my loops are right here. We'll double check it. I'm notorious for looking at it and thinking I have it right and not. I actually did it right this time. Yeah, seeing in 3 dimensions is not Stacie's strong suit. So that is what I ended up with.
Oh, those are beautiful.
And they have like some movement. They're kind of cool. And they're pretty stiff. So like I hate when earring the beadwork is kind of floppy. I don't know, that bothers me.
Oh.
But yeah, that's where
Juliana says, "Girl after my own heart." That's how she does her loops too.
What
she says she gets cropped all the time. She says she does how she does her loops too. Here, I'll pop it up on the screen for you.
Oh,
cool. Awesome. See, those are the kind of earrings, guys, that I would just pop on and wear and just love. And Zakaya says, very elegantly made. Thanks, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Those are so pretty. Yeah,
I am not a fan of simple loops. I'm getting better, though. Lena's made fun of me enough, Lena Gillespie, so I've started practicing, and they actually look semi-decent these days. So Danielle,
Beautiful.
did you want to do your fringe and
Yeah,
finish it all off?
yeah, I just wanted to share all the love you were getting for those beautiful
Oh,
earrings.
well, thank you all for the love. I can use it.
So I just finished pulling in that last warp that I was on. And so it's here now and it's super long. And so it can be used to help support my fringe later. So that's all that remains of the warp thread. And then over here, I've got the other end of it, just the shorter end, which I can use to do the attachment for the top of the earring. Here at the bottom, I've got the leftover starting tail of my weft and the leftover working thread from my weft. And it's already where it needs to be. So I was going to show you guys a couple little tips and tricks for finishing it. And then how to start the fringe strand. So let's do the fringe strand first. What will happen is you'll have probably enough left on the thread that you were using to do your looming. And it's going to be exiting right out of the bottom bead. So right where it needs to be. So you can go ahead and just use that to start creating your first strand. And then the rest of them we are going to have to, at the end, I usually weave them in at the end in case I need them, right? Because they can always be brought over to meet if you run out. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So my pattern is the same counts for every single row. And I just match the color that I'm jumping out of. So 11 beads. And then you want to put on a fire polish bead. And then add one more bead at the end. Slide that on. And skip the last bead to come up through all those beautiful beads. And then what I did is I just exited from that first bead in my loomed row. Pull that through. And I am doing this with the wildfire, guys. It's a little more flowy if you do it with the 1G, but I think it's working out really nicely anyway. Here's the turn to come down through the next bead. And I like to spin the beads in my hand to help that turn snuggle into the beads. That's all there is to it. You would just string 11, come back, 11, come back, and keep going. If and when you decide you need to use the long warp thread, keep in mind that it's running this way. So you don't want to just jump down and use it for fringe. I would recommend with the warp, the really long warp, is to, let me put a needle on it really quick. I think I have one more needle floating around here. I'll just borrow this one. I just want to show you how to get it off of the side and head it in the direction where it would be most useful to you for either becoming fringe or just for weaving in. So again, it's the strand that's running like that along the side. Just go ahead and bring it up. And if you were going to use this one to do your first fringe strand, you could just loop around like that. If you're heading back into the work, what you can do is pick up those little weft threads that run through the beads. And see how I'm getting under those little wefts? And then just gently bring it through. That will hug the side of the bead, but that's no different than the others are, right? And then from whichever one you last hugged one of those little wefts, go ahead and just zip up through it. And so that's how to remove a weft from the side and get it into the work and into play. And how are we doing on time? Are we okay for showing how to put the top on? Or I can just point you guys to the PDF for that. We're close. We're at 2 minutes. Or 1 minute. Oh, the leopard print beans. Zakaya has a question. Yes. Okay, so Nancy, KO thread will work just as great. So on my original sample, I was using 1G. And I would say 1G and KO are very similar, if not indistinguishable as far as how they look in a finished piece. So feel free to use your KO. And then Zakaya was asking about what are those leopard print beads? Yeah, so those are a Picasso finished tan colored bead. It's like, looks like that. And it's a size 10 Delica. You can get them in my shop. And then let's see, where am I on this design really quick? Top demonstration. I got 1 vote for it, so I'll keep going. But Stacie, are you doing okay for time? You're good?
Yeah.
You're okay? Okay, just let me know. I think I can do this in like a minute or two.
Go for it.
And so I got the, what I'm going for, guys, is since we have this count here, I'm going to go up through the center two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these center two. And it doesn't matter which one. Just get your thread coming out of one of those. Give it a little spin so that that turn doesn't show too much. And then I'm using some size 15 seed beads, but I only need 4 of them. And so if you're ordering these delicas from me, guys, give me some 15Os in the comments, and I'll drop some of these in if you're getting this color and you want to match it, so you can do what I'm about to show you. Because it's kind of a weird little turn. And again, I have linked this finding also in the PDF if you're looking for that. And all this is it's actually made for 8O seed beads, but I repurposed it as a alternative to wire guardians. So from here, pick up 2 15s, string the little finding. I'm going to pick up 2 more 15s. And I'm just going to string that down. And all you got to do is go down through the adjacent stack. And I am kind of working through 2 seed beads. You could work through 1, but I just kind of did it like that. And you would just want to reinforce that. Just keep going through the beads again. If you're using wildfire like I am, I think 2 passes is plenty. 3 would be amazing, but 2 is plenty. Just going back through. And just going to head through some beads. And from here, you just weave in the same way I was just showing you with the side thread. As you bring in the side thread, you just go through some beads, pick up some weft threads, go through some beads, make a turn and trim it. And that in a nutshell is how to finish up these beautiful little guys here.
They're gorgeous.
Thank you, Stacie. Aw, thanks, Juliana. Can't believe we did that in an hour, guys. That was 2 projects delivered in 1 hour. How cool is that? It's a bit awesome, I think. So yeah, let's see if there's any questions that I missed really quick. Did I miss anything? Aw, thanks, Sakaya. Just lots of like sweet comments.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Very sweet of you.
I want to make sure I share at least some of these so you can see how awesome. Everyone loves your earring.
Aw, thank you.
Oh, amazing timing. Thank you. I always sweat the timing, so I love that one. Thank you for that one. I really do. I get so nervous because I can only kind of gauge like how long stuff's going to take, you know. But all right. So since we went over a little bit, I just want to see if there's anything I missed from you, Stacie, that you wanted to share that I didn't.
No, I'll take a photo of these and I'll post them both on my Facebook and Instagram. I'm at Stacie Rabbit, which is my Instagram. I'll have them there. And I think I'm Stacie Rabbit Jewelry Designs on Facebook.
Okay.
So you can find me at both places. Do bead weaving, wire work, bead stringing. I'm sort of a jack of all trades, master of none.
Oh, I know you're a master of beautiful jewelry.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
I always love your posts.
I'm a perpetual learner, so I'm like always wanting to try new stuff.
You know what I really love about your work, among many things, is that you're prolific. You have a lot of content all the time. And if I'm ever just needing to see something beautiful and scroll, there's always something new from you. So I appreciate that.
Like I said, it's cheaper than therapy.
Cheaper than therapy. It's true. Awesome. Well, so a quick reminder for me for what's coming up is Monday. I'm live with Jennifer. And also, you don't want to miss out on the Creative Soul box that's coming up. You can get that from the same link where I gave you for the earring looms. So if you go to jewelloom.com and you click on Creative Soul memberships, you can sign up there. That is a monthly subscription education and a box of beads. Beautiful stuff from Juliana. You can also get the earring looms there. Check out the other looms because they're awesome. And I have, I want to show this really quick. This is for making hat bands.
Oh my goodness, it's the giant loom.
I want to make a belt. So I have a belt idea. I don't know. I want to put it on like suede. It's going to be epic, but it's a request from one of my aunts. So you might be seeing posts about a very epic project coming up soon. I just hope that I can do what's in my head justice. I have the vision, but I have to put it into the hands, right? So we'll see.
That is amazing.
And so that's all my updates. I keep my calendar updated on my website. It's daniellewicksjewelry.com. If you click on calendar, it should show you everything I have coming up. Right now, I need to add September. And I'm just waiting to hear from Carol. If you guys can keep her in her prayers, her family. Her dad is he recently had surgery, so but he's doing well. And so she's with him. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But she was saying like maybe she could pop on a live from there because she's just down there visiting and having actually more free time than she would if she was at home. You know how that is, right? It's like that when I go to my mom's. I have like more free time than if I'm here. So she might be with me on the 7th, maybe not, but definitely on the 15th. All right. Oh, and one other thing I just want to share. 7 of the abstract leaves are still left. So this was August's kit that I did for Creative Soul for Juliana, and it's a combination of patterns for both earring and bracelets with the beads included, and that is 7 left. So you can find that also at the same link. Yeah, and then a quick question from Lorena about it's a 2-pack. You actually get two looms to include. Actually, I'm still on camera here. I could put it here. And that's handy because sometimes, well, especially if you're going to demo with them, so you can have them in progress and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, yes. And then, I have so much going on, guys. And Belinda says she's so excited about my Sam's box. Yes, I am the September Sam box designer. And oh my God, you guys. So I have a lot of those already sketched out, the designs, and the beads are coming. I think they're coming today. So it's literally just going to be a matter of putting them into real life, right? So you definitely want to check that out too. Lots of pans in the fire. Lots of cool stuff happening here. Yeah. And yep, you get a bonus tassel maker and 2 earring looms. Just posting that back up. All right. Did I forget anything? I feel like I've covered everything. And
I think you've got everything and then some, Danielle.
And then some, right? All right. Well, I just want to wish you guys a great rest of your holiday weekend. Have a happy Saturday night. And thank you for being here with us today. All right. Have a great and fabulous rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.